Reid Duke playing Jund. And, you know, Reid's been pretty under the radar this weekend, but just might sneak his way into the top 8.
Yeah, he got into day 2 at 7-2. Has been 4-1 so far today. Definitely still has a shot.
All right, breaking it down, both players, Reid at 15, and he's over on your left with Jund. 7 lands in play. One of them is a Raging Ravine. He has 1 card in hand. We go back over to Jonathan's side of the board. He has down a couple lands. He has 5 lands. One of them is Colonnade, which might just get activated. Attacks with the Spirit Token, puts Reid down to 14, and looks to be going on the offensive by beginning of some flashbacks of Lingering Souls, now up to 3 creatures.
And a card to look out for in this matchup, Reid Duke, 2 main deck copies of Thundermaw Hellkite. A pretty powerful card in general, but certainly against Lingering Souls.
You almost felt like when they printed the card that they were thinking of Lingering Souls.
They admitted as much.
This is good against 1/1 white flyers. All right, 2 mana activates Treetop Village. Reid will continue. We'll start counter racing while he can here. And that'll put Jonathan down to 13, so Reid will take lead. And it is a Maelstrom Pulse from Reid Duke on a Spirit Token. Jonathan's last card's a Lightning Bolt, so he could save his 2 spirits if he chooses.
I think it's very hard for Jonathan to win this race if he goes ahead and has his 2 tokens versus 2 man lands, even with a Bolt in hand. I think at this point he wants to transition to using the Condolate and holding up Bolt, taking care of the Raging Ravine if that gets animated, and otherwise trying to race the Treetop Village.
Yeah, looks like he's on that line too. End step going to fetch this Arid Mesa down to 12, but gets a duel, and now with 6 lands, it is enough mana to activate that Colonnade.
He would still like 1 more mana here so he can animate the Colonnade and hold up Lightning Bolt, but
Right.
he'll also take a spell in this spot. So he's in a very good position where either lands or spells are solid for him.
Yeah. Over here the draw looks like was Cryptic Command. I mean, can never be too upset about drawing that one. And Lightning Bolt, relevant here, we do see a Raging Ravine and a Treetop Village from Reid Duke, so Lightning Bolt, a pretty decent card.
Yep. And you wonder if Reid knows about the Lightning Bolt since he's been attacking with Treetop Village and not Raging Ravine. One of those situations where, you know, I know you'll bolt the Raging Ravine, so if you're willing to take the hits from the Treetop Village, I'll keep doing that until you give me any reason to stop.
Yeah, with Colonnade up, it makes it a lot more difficult on Reid because you can't actually just swing the Treetop Village.
Right, now Reid might be in a position where he has to animate one of the Raging Ravines here. And then if that eats a Bolt, Jonathan's in a great position to transition into racing with Celestial Connolly.
Yeah, he just has the 1 Ravine right now in Reid Duke. Yeah. He has 2 copies in his deck, actually. But he's going to start, and this is a pretty sweet draw here. This is Fulminator Mage.
And I believe Jonathan had ripped Cryptic Command last turn, and if that's the case,
And
can't cast it on this fast enough.
Well, he's going to cast on this, but the question is whether he draws or whether he bounces Raging Ravine, because if he doesn't bounce Ravine, Reid gets to attack it, and then it's outside of Lightning Bolt range.
Well, you still get an opportunity to respond with the trigger. So
Okay, yeah.
So I think that Jonathan's definitely safe here. And you see Reid just kind of going back to the same line.
The Treetop, because right now, the Colonnade block line is off the table, so now he can swing this here. And Jonathan still probably just has Lightning Bolt. He's priced into it.
And now, if you know, Reid wants to get in a race with the Raging Ravine, it might warrant a trade here with the Condolate, and then you're playing off the top of the deck, and that's a fine spot for Reid to be in as well. And if Jonathan's going to hold up this Condolate to block, Reid can just wait until he finds an answer to it before he makes a move with the Ravine. So Reid can play as a holding pattern here, which appears that that's what he wants to do. Or if he wants to trade with the Condolate, he kind of has the option to do that at any time, or at least Jonathan's indicating that he's willing to make that exchange.
And fetch on end step for Jonathan, just getting some lands out of his deck. And once Jonathan finds a removal spell too, he can initiate the offensive. He can swing with the Celestial Colonnade and get a pretty quick clock onto Reid. No Lingering Souls in the graveyard for Jonathan.
Yeah, this is one of those games where it feels like the first big draw is going to take it.
Land for Jonathan. That's not going to be the big draw. We'll see if Reid is the one to hit it. Not at all. Black Cleave Cliffs. We're back over to Jonathan. If they both just keep drawing lands, that seems to favor Jonathan, however.
Right.
Because at least Jonathan has the option of blocking, but Reid does not.
Another big difference here is that Jonathan is drawing to Lightning Bolt, whereas Reid is not. Because Lightning Bolt will take care of the Raging Ravine, but the same thing is not true of the Celestial Connolly. Last card in Jonathan's hand is Negate, also potentially a big player here.
Over here, another land for Jonathan. At 5, he is 1 mana away from being able to attack and block with the Colonnade. So at this point, there are very few dead draws for Jonathan.
Also, there are some haymakers in Jonathan's 4-color deck here.
Sphinx's Revelation.
Mystical Teachings, You know, there's some big draws here. Reid's got some big draws as well, but I would rather be in Jonathan's seat right now than Reid's.
Yeah, absolutely. Blood Crypt into play for Jonathan. That's land number 9. I suppose that it's 2 more lands he needs for the Colonnade to work. But he did draw Lightning Bolt this turn, and that's going to be enough. It looks like for him to push the offensive.
Right, now it starts because he's got protection against the Ravine. I think that he actually has enough mana to animate and hold up Negate plus Lightning Bolt, which is a great spot to be in.
Yeah, Colonnade turns into a 4/4 flyer. With Vigilance, it's going to swing, and now the game ties up at 9 apiece. We are back to Reid. With Lightning Bolt and Negate, things are looking pretty grim for the Duke.
I think the biggest draw that Reid has in this spot is actually Thundermaw Hellkite. That seems like the card.
Yeah, it's going to be Thoughtseize from Reid. He'll go down to 7, and we'll stay at 9. Jonathan's going to negate the Thoughtseize. And Raging Ravine's activated. It's going to swing, and the last card is the Lightning Bolt. Reid needs to make him have it. He can't just wait.
Right, and now a lot of Reid's draws do very little. We're looking at another copy of Fulminator Mage or some sort of answer for this and hoping that John draws nothing. Terminate would also do it.
Yep, 5 from that attack from Reid. Thundermaw Hellkite still, in theory, could win the race, but it would have to be now. Olivia Voldaren could maybe win it. But Reid draws a card and passes the turn. You see Tectonic Edge from Jonathan Sukenik. That's the draw. Colonnade will activate once again. It's swinging Reid now down to 1. His draws are few and far between. Passes. Can Reid draw anything out of it? We will see. 2 cards in hand. Do either of them stop this attacker?
I think Counterflux might have been the card in Jonathan's hand, in which case.
Nothing stopping it then. Scavenging Ooze for Reid. Does it resolve?
And the question is, are there enough creatures in the graveyard where Scavenging Ooze allows Reid to survive the next hit? If that's the case, Jonathan might let this go. I'm actually happy to Counterflux here because Reid most certainly drew the Scavenging Ooze. He didn't have anything to answer the Colonnade last turn. Last cards in hands, probably a land or something else that doesn't answer it. Just go for it.
There's attack Celestial Colonnade, deals the final points of damage, and is Jonathan Sukenik with the win, pushing himself into the top 8 over Reid Duke.
Well, we shall see.
We will see, yeah. It looks likely, but it's at this point where the players do need to make sure that the breakers get their way.
Yeah, great run for both of those players. Congratulations to Jonathan Sukenik, who now has to cross his fingers and just hope that the tiebreakers break.